Ooh, all right, here we are. Hello, YouTube. This is Karis Rogerson here with Ruby Barrett, and we're gonna dive into our interview. So,
Mm.
Ruby, I would
Yes.
love to know, as a reader, what was your introduction to the romance genre?
As a kid, I'd always been a very voracious reader, and
Hmm.
I think as probably happens with a lot of people, school kind like academia sort of gets in the way of that
Hmm.
love of reading and kind of beats it into the ground. And
Hmm.
after I finished grad school, and I was very like overtrained, underemployed, had a lot of spare time on my
Hmm.
hands. I was like, I'm going to get back into reading because I loved it so much. And my next door neighbor, who's a very dear friend of mine, Mariah, is a librarian, and she
Hmm.
was like, "Here's all this." Like, here are all these great recommendations,
Oh,
and I
amazing.
loved all of her recommendations. But the thing that I like loved the most was every part of every recommendation where there was like a romance subplot, because she was
Hmm.
giving me like fantasy and like
Hmm.
gen fic and sci-fi, like, so I was getting everything.
Yeah.
But I think the first one where I remember being really like for it was Katniss and PETA, which
Hmm.
has recently sparked controversy on the internet, which we don't have to get into right now.
As it does,
But
as it tends
yeah,
to.
as it
Yeah.
tends to do. Um, I, for the record, am Team PETA, but I'm
Hmm.
also okay with people being Team anything because they're fiction characters.
Fair.
But
Yeah,
anyways,
absolutely.
uh, and then yeah, so then I started reading because I noticed
Um,
that a lot of YA books had
hmm.
very strong romantic
Yeah.
subplots, right?
Hmm.
And then I realized that like the thing that I was really hoping for were the sex parts. And I was like, they're not really doing that in YA for
Shocking.
reasons. Yeah, for like good reasons.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder, like, what could I ever do? And then I remembered that there's an entire genre
Hmm.
that's this does a lot of what they were doing in the YA genre already,
Yeah.
but they were adding spices, and
Yeah.
I never looked back. That was back in like 2012, and
Wow, nice. It's that overtrained and underemployed. They'll get you every time. Just turns you into
two
a writer.
horny pipeline. Like, you're like, I have nothing else to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, got nothing else to do. Might as well read about fictional people having sex.
Exactly.
You know?
So
Yeah,
yeah, that's
that's
how I got into it.
wow. I love that. I love that. That's so I also started when I was like reading after college and I got into like was reading all the time. I started with YA and then didn't read a single adult book in any genre for like 6 years.
Yeah.
Um, and then I discovered adult romance and I was like, well, okay, well, we can
Okay.
have the adults for this one specific genre.
Yeah.
I'll allow
I guess we're not terribly insufferable
it.
all the time. Yeah.
We're okay sometimes. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
it's that's why I uh like romance, YA often gets shit on,
Yeah.
right? For being like it's for like dumb teenagers, and it's like, well,
Hmm.
A, most teenagers right now are already smarter than I ever was at that age. But B, it's like actually the people writing them are
Hmm.
really smart. Just like
Hmm.
romance authors, and
Yes.
I don't know, crack a book, loser.
Right. They're so like maligned, but it's like it takes
Real
okay,
skill.
it takes skill. It takes as much skill as it does to write like a literary novel, but
Hmm.
a lot of times on a much faster timetable
Yes,
because of the
way
expectations of the
faster.
readership and the publishing machine,
Yes.
etc. Um, which is another skill. Like writing fast is a skill you can develop, right? Like
Yeah.
not everyone wants to, they don't have to, but definitely it's not. I don't know, I get really annoyed when I see the threads discussion and they're like, well, they wrote like 3 books a year, so there must be a.
I must-
I can't believe I just did that obnoxious voice for the public. But
Well,
anyway,
I that's what I hear.
right. Yeah. And it's like, well, no, they've honed their craft of fast drafting and like speed writing. Like
Yeah.
it's fine. It's anyway.
There are bad
Soapbox,
books that take 6 years to write, and
and there are
there
great.
are good books that take that like three good books that get written in a
Yeah,
year. So like
a
the
hundred percent.
in the vast
Yeah.
universe where there's like 8 billion people on one planet, like think of the miraculousness of this universe. I
Yeah.
think we can probably have like a
A
diverse, like
spectrum?
a spectrum
Wow.
of people writing books. It's crazy. I
What do
know.
you
It's
mean not
wild.
everyone is the same?
I know. I know. I
Shocked.
don't listen. You're gonna get kicked off YouTube if you keep saying stuff like that. So you've got to be careful.
Okay. I'll move on to my next question. How did you start writing romance yourself?
So I started writing it because so after being underemployed, I did get a job and I would listen to audiobooks on my walk.
Um,
Um, and that would be like actually sorry, no, I have to rewind. I would listen to music on my walks, and then in
Gotcha.
through the music, I would like be telling myself because music I feel like is such a great inspiration for feelings, right? And
Oh
feelings
God,
are
yeah.
great. Um, feelings are the soil for writing, you know?
Yeah.
That's where all good words grow. So I would do that. Um, and I would tell myself these stories on my walk to work. And eventually I was like, maybe I could like write it down. Like instead of just like only thinking about these fictional people in my head when like I'm going to and from my job,
Yeah.
like maybe I could write it down and then I could do it all the
Oh
time.
yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got
Nice.
started. But when I say like I was just literally writing down my fiction. Like I don't know if it's like my ADHD or what, but
Mhm.
I went in with no plan. I went in with no training with skills.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I was literally just like writing down the story as
Yeah.
it came to me. And so like there was in the, very early days of like Ruby Barrett books, there were a lot of like missteps in terms of
Mhm.
like how to write a story and like
Mhm.
what story even is. Like, I don't know if you know this, but stories have to have conflict. And
I've been told.
yeah, I hate that. I'm always like, do
Right?
they? Couldn't
Can they
just
not
couldn't the
just
friction just be between two bodies or more? Like,
the
what if
conflict
that
is
was the
just
conflict?
the sexual tension between them?
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
oh, the conflict is like I really would enjoy having sex, but I can't because the writer has put me in a public place, but maybe we could find a way to do it
Right.
here anyways. That's the conflict.
Yeah.
No, but yes, like I it really did just start out as like writing down my little it like I guess like just my little mind friends, and then
Oh,
eventually yeah.
I love that.
Tell me you weren't very popular in school without telling me that you have established mind friends. That's me.
Well, no, because
But
same.
yes, so yeah. So
Yeah.
so yeah,
Hmm.
it started just with like yeah,
Mm.
feelings and time and
Yeah.
probably like a little like audacity, but you know,
Listen, if there is one thing writers trying to get published have, it is a little
right.
bit of
It's
the
a little
audacity.
bit of
Like,
it. Yes,
you've
yes, for
gotta
sure.
have a tiny
A
streak
tiny bit.
of like delusion and just self-grandeur to pursue it.
Yes,
And I
for
say that
sure.
after 12 years of trying to get published. It's like I'm
Yes,
allowed to
yeah.
say that, talking
You
about
need to
myself.
continue, yes, to
Yeah.
have this delusion for sure. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. So you've written and published multiple romance novels, but you have an upcoming one
Hmm.
that is called Most Likely to Match,
Yes,
and you are indie publishing it, correct? Like
yes,
self-publishing
I
it.
am. Yes.
So I would love it if you could just talk to us a little bit, like give us a pitch, talk about the process for that and the like publication journey of it all.
Okay. So most likely to match is the sort of second book in the Matchbooks
Mhm.
series. The first book was The Matchmaker. Uh, takes set in Toronto. Both books are set in Toronto, in
Mhm.
Canada, because I'm from Canada.
Mhm.
But in the first book, you meet Jasmine and Nick. They kind of find each other through a case of mistaken identity, where Jasmine, who is using a
Mhm.
matchmaking service, thinks that she is on a date with the right Nick that she was matched with, but she's actually with the wrong Nick. That's okay. They decide to mutually use each other for fake dating benefits.
Perfect.
And titty fucking ensues, as it often does in these scenarios. And then
Right.
in Most Likely to Match, that book is about the matchmaker, Chloe, who you do get to meet in the
Mhm.
first book. And it is I kind of, my best pitch, sort of elevator pitch for it is kind of a trope salad. So I just
Yes.
like to just shove them all together. But it is a
Mhm.
second chance, secret high school friends with benefits to enemies to lovers
Ooh.
um, romance where Chloe tries to hire her former secret high school friends with
Ooh.
benefits, who is also a former boyfriend for hire, uh, to help her save her failing business and her matchmaking business. And he declines, but instead proposes to work with her, because just because I needed to also make it a workplace romance, obviously.
Yeah.
And the the
Oh my
the
God.
tension that the two of them experienced in high school is just simmering below the surface, but there's a lot of distrust because
Mhm.
Chloe, they were a secret because Chloe is very popular and Dean was not. And
Oops.
uh, in a moment of, uh, horrific high school embarrassment, which there will be trigger warnings for at the beginning of the book, um, uh, Chloe never did anything to stand up for Dean. And so there's a
Um,
lot of distrust between them. But
mhm.
the best way to get over distrust is to get under somebody.
The person
I
you don't
always say,
trust.
yeah,
The noted idiom. The
yes,
best way.
yes. Wow, everybody knows it. It's on t-shirts, it's on tote
Yeah.
bags. Everybody knows. Highly recommend doing that.
Yeah.
Actually, don't. But
I was
don't.
like, okay,
I
I'll
also
take
want to
notes.
get
Like,
like,
let's
I
go.
did what you said, Ruby, and I've I've been
It
hurt
did
even
not
worse.
actually go the same
Yeah.
way as it did in the romance novel. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Oh,
that's the book.
fabulous.
Sorry, and then you wanted also to talk about just like the self-pub process. That
Yeah, yeah,
also,
yeah. Just like
okay.
how you went about like writing it and getting it ready for publication. Yeah.
Sure. So, for both The Matchmaker and Most Likely to Match, they were in some ways like kind of the hardest books I've ever had to write because I
Mm.
was doing them with like no guardrails. Because even when I wrote Hot Copy, which was my trad pub debut, I was doing it with the mind towards traditional
Mhm.
publishing, right? And then my next books, Romance Recipe, Friendship Study, were all trad pub. So I had these sort of guardrails of my editor. Like both of them were
Right.
sold on spec. So I was like,
Mhm.
before I'd even written the book, the publishing house had bought
Mhm.
them. So I kind of went into it knowing like, well, somebody wants this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and then when you're writing indie, you're just again you're doing it with audacity, right?
Mhm.
So you're just being like, well, I hope like I want it
Yes.
because I'm making it, but
Yeah.
who else? Nobody knows. So yeah, so that was really hard for both books to
Yeah.
get like started.
Mhm.
Um, the thing that really helped for both again was just like giving myself permission to like do Ruby things. I
Yeah.
think one of the things like I always talk about it's hard to talk about brand when you are your own brand, right? But
Yeah.
one of the things that I hope that my brand is
Mhm.
like when you open a Ruby book, you can be guaranteed that there's going to be some like, even if it's not like high volume of
Mhm.
intimacy, there's going to be a
Okay.
lot of deep intimacy, like we are
Gotcha.
going places. And
Yeah.
so I was just sort of like giving myself permission, like, I've had a great experience with my publisher, so I've never really been told like you can't do that. But
Hmm.
just going in with that mindset of like do whatever you want, like just truly do
Right.
whatever you want, like just
Right.
kind of allowed me to like free myself up. That
Mhm.
being said, like I wouldn't even say that either of those books are like incredibly like I don't want people to go in there and be like, this is gonna be stuff you're gonna get arrested for in certain countries. Like it's I don't
Yeah.
think it's on like that level.
Hmm.
It's just like going in with that mindset.
Hmm.
The other thing that really helped me for most likely to match of just writing the book, I was going through, and I still probably am, was going through
Hmm.
like a really low depressive like
Hmm.
episode when I started writing that book. Um, and it's really hard to create when you like hate yourself and the world and
Hmm.
everything. Um, and so I really had to like, because the one thing is like, yes, I'm indie publishing and I'm on my own schedule. I don't have these guardrails, but I
Yeah.
did have an editor who was
Hmm.
expecting a manuscript by a certain date. And I was
Hmm.
like, and I paid for that myself, right? So I'm like,
Right.
I gotta, I
Yeah.
gotta hit that deadline. So what I did was I plotted out all my sex scenes, my intimate scenes first.
Hmm.
And I started writing those
Okay.
because those are again, like those are the things they're
Yeah.
not, I don't think it's my brand just because like I'm good at it. Hopefully, I'm good at it. I think it's my brand because I like really like it.
Yeah.
Um, so I just was like, okay, if existing is terrible right now, the least I can do is make this one part fun.
Hmm.
And I ended up like only writing like two of the intimate scenes before going back and being like, okay, no, I can do this. Like, and like
Yeah.
went back and then was able to start the book
Yeah.
from the beginning, which is generally how I like to write. I like to write generally from
Yeah.
like beginning to end.
But you kind of have
Usually
to give
what will,
yourself that to like look
yeah,
forward to and like
ex
ignite the spark.
exactly. I had to fluff myself,
Yeah.
fluff my brain or brain foreplay or whatever we want to call it. But yeah, so that was very much the process for this book.
Okay.
Um,
Mhm.
and then yeah, I mean, like I can also talk about like why I chose to self-pub because
Yeah.
if people who are watching this are writing romance and like have a plan to go trad or do like one or the other, indie or trad,
Hmm.
my plan has always been like really before I would probably before or right around the time that like I got like I knew I have always wanted to be trad pubbed, like traditionally
Hmm.
published, which means like, through a big five like sort of
Yeah.
press. But I um pretty quickly also realized that like it's just good business to do both if you can.
Hmm.
And obviously like things like time and opportunity and luck are all
Hmm.
big parts of that. But I yeah, it was just always in my plan to do both because
Hmm.
I think we experience like as creators, we experience fallow periods, which, was one that I was kind of in already.
Yeah.
Um, and being able to sort of have, uh, I guess, just almost like different markets going at the same time. It's like that sort of
Hmm.
place where you have to bring art and business together.
Yeah.
And to me, doing both, um,
Hmm.
like would allow me to sort of like have that flexibility to explore certain things one way in like in
Hmm.
one place and create different offshoots of my brand or whatever in another place and all this stuff. But yeah, it's just like it had always been my plan even before Hot Copy came out.
Okay.
But the biggest thing was just finding the time because turns
Yeah.
out there isn't
It's
any.
finite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time is a
Um,
finite resource, which is devastating,
yeah, right.
frankly.
Um, so yeah, so yeah, that was sort of why I decided to do both, but I still do
Mhm.
plan to trad pub in the future. I have a book that's on sub right now. I will
Oh,
cross your
fingers
fingers.
crossed.
But it's like it's been a very freeing experience, a very difficult
Mhm.
experience to self-pub.
Mhm.
But I also feel like it's like one of those things that I feel like I make a lot of mistakes in it and I get really hard on my like down on myself and stuff.
Mhm.
And it's one of those things where I'm always trying to remind myself, I'm not always good at it, but I'm always trying to remind myself that um like you this was your first time on the planet too, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you don't know. You're just like we're all just like babies when you think about it. And so
Mhm.
yeah, I'm learning and like the really lucky thing for me is that I get to learn and like I get to be uncomfortable and like
Right.
make mistakes and be uncomfortable in coming from a place of comfort, right? Like I'm not
Right.
I already have an established career. Like I already
Mhm.
have books that exist. So I had that like built-in audience, which made it a lot easier to make
Mhm.
that leap into indie because
Yeah.
uh, it, it it didn't feel as if I was sort of starting from the bottom of the mountain, right? I was starting in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah, I was at a book event recently where it was with Trisha Levenseller and Sarah Beth Durst. And Sarah said something about how once you've got that first book out and you like it can give you freedom to like know that it like it's resonating, right? Like know
Mhm,
that there are people who enjoy it. And I wonder if it's a similar thing where it's like you know that there are readers out there who love your words and your
mhm,
stories and who will follow you even if
mhm.
you're not from, Penguin Random House or whatever big
Yeah,
publisher.
yeah, yeah,
Like, so it's kind of like, and it's so interesting because I think normally we talk about like, oh, once your work is out there, like yeah, it could be hated. And it was kind of radical to me to be like, I could just flip that in my brain and be like, yeah, but once it's
yeah.
out there, it could also be beloved.
Be loved.
Um,
Yeah.
which I think is a really neat perspective and something that
Yeah.
I need
And
because I'm a
yes.
pessimist. Like,
Yeah. No, and the same, like I think I don't even want to call it like positivity, but
mhm,
like flipping that narrative in your head
mhm.
is like it's constant work. Like you have to do it
All
all
the
the
time.
time, you know?
I'll have like a breakthrough
Um,
one day and I'll be like, all right, I'm fixed.
yes.
I am not fixed.
Like you're not fixed. No.
No.
No. I left a voice message just like earlier today to my friend Lissa,
Mhm.
who is a YA author. She
Mhm.
just her book Rebel came out recently. Lissa Mia Smith, you should all read it. But you know, we talk her and I talk a lot about like how do you keep going in this industry
Mhm.
because it you know, even if publishing wasn't like kind of shitty, just which it is, like it treats its
Yeah.
talent like shit.
Yeah.
Um, it's really hard because your co-authors are your colleagues and your friends, and it's we are trained though in like this
Mhm.
capitalist system to see them as our competition and to compare our to do so much comparison. Um, and like I
Yeah.
found myself doing that recently, being like, oh, I like this person has like more real views than me,
Mhm.
or like, oh, my sales have been really like
Yeah.
low this month, and like I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or I know that I could be doing more, but I don't know what it is, and all this
Mhm.
stuff. And it's like I didn't even need her to like do anything because I know there's nothing she can do. I was just like, sorry, you have to bear this today, but
Yeah.
it's this constant like cyclical
Uh-huh.
thing of being like, okay, we're going to shift our perspective and be like, hey,
Yeah.
you've written 6 books now, like that's pretty
Yeah.
cool, or
That's pretty
5, I
baller.
can't remember now. I've written 5 books now, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That's
So
badass.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love, well, no, I don't love. I hate that we're like raised up to view each other as competition. And I
Yeah,
think sometimes even like the I think sometimes publishing can play into that,
for
either
sure.
intentionally or not, when you get things like, oh, well, the imprint has the queer book for this season. The imprint has
Yes,
the whatever
exactly.
book. And it's to me, I think like publishing would be much healthier for all involved if we
Hmm.
took like an expansive view of like the table is infinite.
Hmm.
There are billions, I'm guessing, of readers in the
Hmm.
world, and they're not all going to
Hmm.
read the same book.
Hmm.
So let's just give
Yeah.
them a lot, like a bounty to choose from.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I
No, but
know, like
that's
business and
exactly it.
capitalism, whatever,
Right.
but
They don't want that.
yeah.
But no, you're exactly right that it like creates competition within communities
Hmm.
that actually, which I mean, we don't have to get into like an entire sort of like Marxist theoretical
Please
whatever
don't.
thing, but like right, like what queer like if we're going to talk about
Yeah,
like I'm what queer
hmm,
creators talking, right? Like
yeah,
what queer communities need is community. We need
yes,
more of our stories. But in
yeah.
this system, we
Hmm.
are told and we internalize that there can
Hmm.
only be one,
And
right?
I catch myself doing that. I started out writing YA, and so I've been signed up for the children's bookshelf from Publishers Weekly for 10 years
Hmm.
now. It's my favorite email of the week. But
Yeah.
I find myself recently, I'll read it and I'll see like blah blah blah. Oh, now it's a sapphic romance. Oh man. And then I'm like, no, Kara, it's like that has nothing to do with your chances and
Yes.
everything to do with like that's a good thing for
Yes.
you, for the teens that are going to read those books, for the parents that might be exposed to, like for everyone,
Everybody. Yeah.
that is a good thing.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I feel like we're so like it's so ingrained in us to be like,
Oh, that seat's taken. Like I
yeah.
can't.
And it's like, well, they'll
Yeah.
just pull out a new one, right? Like you can sit
Yes.
on their lap. I don't know. Like
Yes.
they'll be
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
It's just a big happy family or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on the
Uh,
book, sure, like sit on that lap.
100%. Some books, the lap might, mm, let's just not say that. Okay. So, what is the best thing about writing romance?
Uh, the laps. The best thing about writing romance. Um, oh gosh. I kind of get like emotional about like the different variations of this question. Um, this is a question that I actually like try to ask other romance authors because I would just
Mhm.
always love to like get their perspective too.
Yeah.
Um, and Ava Wilder
Mhm.
was doing an event with Rosie Danon for
Mhm.
Rosie's
Mhm.
new book fan service a couple months ago. And I asked there, and Ava's answer kind of just like left me lying on the floor. So I'm going to steal what I like what I love about writing romance is what Ava said.
Yeah.
But Ava said that writing like love is the like closest form or the closest to magic that human beings can ever achieve.
Mhm.
And like that's, what romance is. It's
Mm.
all the different incarnations of what
Mhm.
love is.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that like just when, her saying love is the,
Mhm.
closest form of magic that we can achieve just really like kind of like spoke to me because
Yeah.
I joke a lot about sex and laps and
As we should.
whatever as we should, and I know it is I try to make it part of my brand, but
Mhm.
if you read a Ruby book, hopefully you will also understand that like all of that sex and
Mhm.
intimacy or is intimacy and is deeply tied to the love between the people that are experiencing it because um if love is like the closest to magic that we can ever be, then I feel like intimacy can be like a tool of that magic.
Mhm. Oh my God,
um
yeah.
so being able to just explore that and
Mhm. And
is a
share it
very
too.
and share it, yeah, is a really like fun like I truly have so much fun writing romance when I'm not
Mhm.
like horribly depressed. And
Mood. Yeah.
but yeah, I truly have so much fun writing it.
Mhm.
And I also um it feels like a lot like liberation to me. I
Mhm.
think that, I think when I started writing romance, I was not thinking in terms of like
Yeah. Yeah.
liberatory practices, right? I was thinking in terms of like smush parts together.
Yeah. Just like start
Um,
kissing. Let's go.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, because of the mind friends.
Yeah.
But as I've grown, uh, there's so much about love, whether that is
Mm-hmm.
romantic love, familial love,
Hmm.
but like friend love.
Yeah.
Um, but community, is that is liberatory
Hmm.
and creating, I know I write white characters. I'm a white person and
Hmm.
I'm not going to write like characters outside of my racial experiences, but
Hmm.
the idea we that we get to, as romance authors, we
Hmm.
get to write stories for, with
Yeah.
love for everyone. Like I know that love
Hmm.
love is love is kind of
Yeah.
become quite a bitch of a phrase now, but that idea that like
Hmm.
showing, sort of what you were saying, right? Like it's seeing that sapphic romance in that email
Hmm.
is good for you.
Yeah.
It's good for all of us to see
Hmm.
ourselves in these
Yeah.
happily ever afters, to see people who don't look like us in these happily ever afters and
Yeah.
how good that is. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that there's just like that is exactly what the fascists and the white supremacists and the capitalists
Yeah.
don't want.
Yeah.
And I've always been a pretty contrarian person to begin with. So
Yeah.
uh, I'm like, oh, I'm okay. I definitely want to do the things that are going to make them mad. Um,
God.
so writing romance is like
Hmm.
really, it's like one of the ways that I do that. And then I also think that like pleasure in itself, pleasure, sort of like that whole idea that like rest is
Resistance. Yeah.
resistance. So is pleasure. Um, remembering that we have moments for ourselves, that we
Yeah.
have moments to just do the things that we want to do
Hmm.
for ourselves, to like feeling good to feel good.
That's okay.
Like
Like it's not just an okay thing to do. Like it's actually
it's
like
actually a really
positive.
good thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially now, we're
Hmm.
seeing a really big trend, and it makes sense considering the government in the US and um, the Christian far right really sort of
Hmm.
throwing their elbows around. We're seeing this turn towards
Hmm.
modesty and this turn towards
Yeah.
uh, shame,
Repression. Yeah.
yeah, and repression. And I think one of my strengths is that I've just never really felt shame when it comes to sex. I just don't have the gene. So
I have two
I
of them though, so I got your gene.
sorry about that.
Me too.
But like
Yeah.
again, it feels something. It feels like something
Hmm.
very liberatory.
Hmm.
It feels like resistance. It feels like revolution. And so for me, like writing romance is all of those things.
I think
Magical and also like
like yeah, that
throwing
was
a Molotov cocktail. So.
it's like your magic is beautiful and lovely, and also we're gonna tear down the systems.
Yeah.
But actually while you were saying that, I was also thinking like it's healing. And it's so funny that you like ended with talking about the shame gene and I joke, but like I was raised in a mentality of repression that desire is bad. Like
Mhm.
it has its place, but outside of that place, which you're not going to get to for at least 2 decades because you're a child now and you got to
Yeah.
grow up before you can date. Like
Yes.
you're not going to get there for like 15 years. So just repress it and like tamp it down. And now here I am at 32 and I'm like, I don't know how to have a
I don't
relationship
know.
with desire and this. And like
Yes.
romance novels have been really healing for me lately because I read such a wide variety of spice levels and wonderful things. And it's been really eye-opening to be like, oh, like it's okay to feel like this or to want something
Yeah.
like this. Like that's not bad or gross or dirty or shameful. That's just life and
Human.
it's also beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Like so yeah, and I also like it was reading gay romance novels like, you know, Simon Versus, right? Like Simon versus the Homo
Yes.
sapiens on the Becky Albertalli. Like that was one of the first queer books that I read, and it was one of the moments of having my eyes open to be like, there's nothing wrong with this.
Yeah.
Like this is actually good.
Yeah.
And I think that romance novels can do that, and they're so powerful. And that's also why we're seeing Moms for Liberty all over the US trying to ban books because they
Yeah.
know how powerful they
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So
are. Yeah.
fuck you, Moms for Liberty.
100%. Yeah. Down with them.
Down.
Okay, shifting a little bit, I would love to know if you have any like advice for aspiring romance authors that is not
Mhm.
in the like craft writing advice genre, but more about like
Mm.
approaching the business like um or anything that like comes to mind that's not just like, you know, write, use the beat sheet or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, like what we were saying earlier, your fellow authors are your colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they are likely going to be your friends.
Mm-hmm.
My best friends are
Mm-hmm.
people I met through Pitch Wars. I talk to Rosie Dannon every
Yeah.
single day. I am a
Mm-hmm.
barnacle on her side. She will never get rid of me.
Me to
I
all of my friends.
right like she get like I'm just gonna keep regrowing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like and the like other authors, regardless of the genre that you write in, um, other authors are your colleagues, your friends, and your community, and you need each
Mm-hmm.
other. And it'll be easy to see them as competition. And you may even like not like all of them, right? Like, because we don't like everybody. Like we don't
That's
like
a
everybody
lie.
in our class, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
like that's what group chats are for.
Mm-hmm.
Very private group chats with trusted members.
Mm-hmm.
That's what our journals are for. That's not for talking about on the internet.
Right.
Unless they're really problematic and doing like some
But then
bad shit. Like then
it's not like, oh, this person annoys me. It's like, oh, this person is dangerous. Like those are different.
yes,
You're
yeah. And
allowed
like
to, yeah.
I'm not saying we can't have a whisper network to protect ourselves
Mm-hmm.
or like a yelling network to
Right.
tell everybody. I'm saying
Yeah.
that like if you see someone else that is achieving the things that you want to achieve and you just
Mm-hmm.
hate it. I get it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, and like I'm saying this after already admitting that like I'm having trouble with this right now. At the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, it's not about them. It's about you.
Yeah.
It's like the one time when you it gets to be about you, right? It's just
Right.
about you. The work
Yeah.
you do, the time you spend, bum in seat or mouth
Mm-hmm.
to the voice memo machine or like you know what I mean?
I was like, are
Mouth
we
to
like
the
circling? Is that what this is?
yeah. But it's like it's about like however you write, that's what it's about. It's about your art. Like forget craft, like it's art. What we write
Yes.
is art. Like titty
Mm-hmm.
fucking is art.
The
I will not,
Renaissance painters agree with you.
yeah, exactly. Like I will like what I do is art. And
Mm-hmm.
like if you want to, I have a degree in art history. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
go like see a bunch of people who hate themselves and compare themselves to each other, go look at impressionists. Like that's all
Mm.
they did. They all hated themselves. They drank themselves to death. They all had syphilis. Like
Oh,
everybody, like every like just
yeah.
focus on yourself
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to like worry about everybody else. And when you do worry about everybody else, it's because it's, you want it to come from a place of love.
Mhm.
And I know that probably all sounds really like, um, but I truly believe that like the energy that we give out, we get
Comes
back
back.
to us, first of all.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like I experienced that, so I believe it. I'm not
Hmm.
just like secretly evangelizing the secret. But uh it's also like it's just like for your mental health because like
Hmm.
again, when you take your art outside of the art space and you
Hmm.
try to put it into the business space, everything about
Hmm.
publishing will try to beat you down and will try to wring you out and will use
Hmm.
you up and throw you into the streets
Hmm.
and you'll be done and you won't want to
Yeah,
do it anymore.
but you've got
Um,
your friends there to drag you back out of the streets.
exactly. Well, exactly. And like the thing, like I left Lissa that voice note earlier
Hmm.
today and was just like, I'm feeling really bummed and low. And I feel like nothing I'm doing is right. I feel like nobody wants to read my words. I feel like I'm trying my best and my best isn't good enough. And Lissa
Hmm.
said, I know there's probably nothing I can say to you. You didn't want me to say anything, and there's nothing I can say because, like, that you're just, I know that
Hmm.
this feeling is what you're feeling, but like,
Hmm.
I love you and I'm here. And like, that's
Hmm.
what I needed, right? Like, that's,
And yeah, I think we talk a lot about needing a support network to like support you when you're in your low moments, which is kind of what you just shared. But I had a similar moment today where I was writing a friend and I was like, nobody's reading my newsletter. I keep losing subscribers. I'm gonna stop doing it. And then I was like, I'm so sad. I miss my newsletter. Like, okay, Karis, just make up your mind. But she was like, well, I miss your newsletter when you don't send it. And I was like, that's because your community, like your writing friends, like they're there to believe in you when you can't
you
quite
can't.
muster that yourself. Like
Yeah.
my roommate's not even a writer, but she like when I got my agent, she was like, yeah, no, am I like, okay, are we surprised? And I was like,
Yeah.
of course we're surprised.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, I mean, I just assumed that it was gonna happen. It's
Yeah. It
like,
was an inevitability.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like okay, but like because I don't feel that way about myself, but my friends, whether my writing friends or my like other community, like they look at me and they're like, yeah, that'll happen. And I'm like, okay, could
Yeah.
you give me a timetable though? Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Um, but I would be lost without that.
For sure. And I mean, like, honestly, on the reverse side of that, I there's nothing more fun than like screaming about your friend's work,
Oh
you
God,
know?
you're so right.
Like
Yeah.
it feels like a uh uh
I literally
an
get like the
inside
adrenaline
joke.
rush as though it's
Yeah.
happening to me.
Yes. It's like
Yeah.
this inside joke that now finally everybody gets to know about. And you're
Hmm.
just like, oh, like that,
Hmm.
like it's not just because it's not like, yeah, I would die without Rosie. Like,
Yeah.
but I also, I'm going to like yell in everybody's face about what she does
Yeah.
because I think like
Yeah.
she's one of the best of our generation.
Yeah.
Um, and like, yeah, like
Yeah.
I know that like writing is so solitary and can be so hard to find
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
community, but like we're almost all introverts if we chose to do this. But like put on your brave panties or
Yeah.
boxers, or if you don't wear underwear, then just your regular trousers. I don't know.
Put on your brave
And
birthday suit and let's
yeah,
go.
and let's like reach out, slide
Yeah.
into a DM, like do it
Channel the audacity
because
that drives you to write and like slide
exactly.
into
You
some like
had
you
all this audacity to write a
yeah.
book and now you're not going to make a friend? Like
Come on.
wild. Yeah,
No. You're gonna make a
that's
friend.
silly. Yeah. You
Whoever's watching
made a
this.
brain friend. Like
Exactly. You created them
out
from
of thin
nothing.
air. You're not going to make a real friend. Like
Right?
that's a
Like
joke.
that's so much easier than conjuring people out of nothing. Come on.
Yeah.
And most, I mean, I think like, yeah, I, like I said, I've been trying to get published for like 10, 12 years. Like I've had a lot of interactions with people over the years. I've had, sometimes we're all slide into someone's DMs and like hope for the best. And it's like, oh, okay, this is not a friendship that's going to take off. Like they just have too much on their plate or whatever. And then other times it'll be like, like an author that I'm like, loving their stuff and I'm a big fan, and they don't actually get offended when you tell them that, shockingly. Authors don't hate it when you tell them you love your work, and sometimes they become your friends. Win-win.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like tell authors, tell any creator you love their work. Like
They're gonna
just
be so delighted.
it's like that episode of Friends where after Ross's wedding to Emily, Rachel was like, or no, it
Right.
was during whatever, when she told Ross
Yeah.
that she loved him.
She's like,
And
everyone
she
wants
was
to
like,
hear
it's a
that.
night, everyone wants to hear that. Even if he doesn't say it back, everyone wants to hear that. Every creator wants to hear that someone somewhere likes their art.
Mhm.
Like, put it on your to-do list today. Go
Yes.
tell someone you like their art.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll make a friend along the
Yeah.
way.
That's like a win-win. Like there's no
Exactly.
lose in this scenario.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think my advice is like see community, not
Mhm.
competitors, because
Yeah.
the latter will kill you, I think. Like if not like your soul, your
Mhm.
will and motivation, like you'll have nothing left.
And on the flip side, do you have writing advice for aspiring romance authors?
For aspiring romance authors, okay,
Mhm.
yes, I do. So, one thing I will say is, I mean, like, I feel like everybody says this, like, read inside your genre, read outside your
Mhm.
genre, do both. Um, but I'm saying this like really strongly.
Yeah.
Um, for a really long time, I was like really only reading inside my genre. It was just really all my
Mhm.
brain had
Yeah.
capacity for.
Mhm.
Um, and like, not to say that I wasn't like, like I only read romance, like an automaton, but like in the last few years, I've finally started to feel like I had
Mhm.
the brain power to like go outside my genre. And I remembered that
Yeah.
like it helped. I think that it helps you. The reason I say that is like read outside your genre is I think that it truly does help you build better characters and more real and
Mhm.
alive and living characters
Yeah.
when you can read something, you can read about like the Donner Party and like but like that's really interesting to me. Like I
It
know that's
is.
weird, but like the
Yeah.
Donner Party is really a really interesting
Yeah.
like sort of like sociological
Yeah. Like
psychological
a,
study.
yeah.
Like I would be if I knew that a character, like obviously the book doesn't have to be about my romance character and the Donner Party, like
That's
that's fine.
wild.
But like if I
Yeah.
knew that a character, if I'm reading a book and it's
Hmm.
like she will have a fact about the Donner Party at every dinner table
Yeah.
that she's invited to. Like, I like that chick. Like, I want to know
That's
her
very
better.
unique. That like really helps you learn your character and show your character and really like give such a big sense of who they are without them being.
Exactly. With one little thing, right? So it's
Mhm.
like, it just helps you fill in those little things about character that you might
Mhm.
not necessarily get if we're only reading in our genre.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then also for like reading in our genre, this goes back to like where I am going to say read your competition,
Yeah.
uh, but not because we see them as competition, because we want to see what these people are doing that
Mhm.
is working, or like what's
Yes.
not working for us. Like,
Yeah.
like why? Okay, like this author like did like took this like lens on this
Mhm.
trope, and I don't like it. Why don't I like it? Like,
Mhm.
let's like dig down and understand why.
Mhm.
Um, Another thing I will say, you're gonna regret asking me this because I have a lot of advice. Um, I think a lot of romance authors
Mhm.
need to, and me included, need to do a better job of reading like the old texts. Like,
Um,
and like, listen, I know that like the 90s, even the
mhm.
early 2000s romance, they look very different than what we're
Mhm.
used to. Like, like consent, not really
Yeah.
a thing in
Yeah.
a lot of that early stuff. But I think it's important for us to understand like where this genre
Mhm.
came from, um, understand how it started,
Yeah.
I think that helps us place ourselves, like
Hmm.
again, like within this context. I think maybe it's
Yeah.
like I'm an art history and history degree, so like maybe that's why I conceive of it this way. But like
Hmm.
we can, especially in terms of art history, is like we look back at art history and we see these different epochs and these different
Hmm.
times, right? Of how people did art stylistically, what they're doing. That's why we have things called Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. That's
Yeah.
why we have the Renaissance and the Northern Renaissance and like all of
Right.
these styles. Like, what were they doing?
Yeah.
What were
What were they
like,
reacting to? What were they attempting
what
to
were
like
they? Yeah,
differentiate from, that kind of stuff? Yeah.
exactly. And also, like, I think there's been a huge, I had this conversation with like a non-romance reader
Okay.
um the other day where like I told her like she's like a mom at my like a mom like that my kid knows, and
Hmm.
I was taking my kid to the birth their kid's
Hmm.
birthday party. She
Hmm.
asked me what I did, and I said I'm an author, and she said
Yeah.
what kind of books do you write, and I said adult romance, and she said something along the lines of like, and like was she was in no way trying to be like disparaging, but like something along the lines of like, oh, it's become really popular. And I was like, actually,
Fun fact.
it's always been really fucking popular.
Mhm.
Like, we, if it's become more popular, that's due to TikTok and like Instagram and stuff, which thank you very much. We appreciate it.
I'll take it. Yeah.
But like, honestly, I hope book talk girlies do not cancel me for this. We didn't need TikTok. We were,
Oh.
we've, we have been here and
Mhm.
we will always be here, whether you
Yeah.
try to bury us or not.
I
But like,
mean,
we
I
have
think
been here for so long.
one thing
Sorry,
that
go ahead.
might maybe has changed is like it was always popular, but it wasn't always maybe socially palatable to be in
Of
like
course,
to love romance
of
novels.
course,
And I think
of
the
course.
beauty of BookTok, BookTube, Bookstagram, and
Is that
also just like
it's
this current age is
making
that
it,
like we're
yes.
reclaiming things. We're being like, actually, like I don't, it's not bad to love books where people fall in love and have sex. Like that's actually good.
Yes,
And
yeah,
I'm not
that's
going
a
to be
good thing.
ashamed. The
Yes,
shame gene, we're
exactly.
getting rid of
The
it.
shame, we're getting rid of the shame gene through social media. Thank you very much. But
Yeah.
like, I want new romance readers
Hmm.
or writers and readers, to be honest,
Hmm.
to understand that like we are a part of a history, and there's things that we can like take away from
Yeah.
that, and there are things we can leave behind, like
Yes.
the rampant like racism in
Leave
so
that.
many historical romances, the
Yeah.
the erasure of like the slave trade in
Hmm.
historical romance. Like we can leave that behind and we can have some
Hmm.
uncomfortable conversations
Yes.
within these
Yeah.
pages, within these covers, right?
Yeah.
But
Uh, yeah.
like we can still learn from the books that came before
Hmm.
us.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess just like my last one is
Okay.
that shame. Like again, I feel really
Mhm.
uh I feel bad always saying this because like I said, like I feel like I just never had the shame gene. Um,
No, that's, yeah.
so when I, like when I write something that other people might feel shame for, I'm just like, this is fun. Like, okay,
Right?
I don't
Yeah.
care. And when someone like I've had people judge me before for reading romance and for writing it, and I'm like, okay. Like I just it just
Yeah.
for whatever reason I have been blessed with that. That's like my
Hmm.
one, like if I had been turned into a vampire by Edward, that would be my like my really I don't know how it would
Yeah.
manifest, but like I would be able to like make a bubble of shamelessness maybe to
Ah,
protect my friends.
okay, well,
Um
let's call up Edward because I want to be
yeah,
part of the bubble.
part of the bubble. But like I think doing whatever we can do to do the work of like setting
Hmm.
that shame aside, because um like I think our this goes beyond just writing intimate scenes, like physically
Hmm.
intimate scenes. Our best work is done without shame, right?
Yeah.
Our best work is done when we can
Yeah.
not judge ourselves, and not feel
Yeah.
guilt. And
Hmm.
I know it's really hard, and I wish I had
It takes practice.
advice to give to like
Hmm.
help people, but
Hmm.
so one of the things I always go back to is like, the man wants you to be ashamed. So if that
Yeah.
motivates you, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the opposite of what they
Yeah.
want me to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, like whatever we can do to continuously set aside our shame
Mhm.
is really important. And we need it now more than ever. So if
Yes.
you are writing romance, I think it's so important. And
Mhm.
again, that doesn't mean that you have to like, I'm not saying set aside shame and write like high spice
Right. You don't have to
romance
do anything
scenes.
you're not
Don't have to,
comfortable or not
yeah, write
excited
the
by.
books you want to write. But
Yeah.
there's gonna like we're gonna feel like shame attached to it no matter what, I think.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
you're still gonna do your best work with a closed door romance without
Hmm.
shame.
Yeah.
That's all the advice I think. Yeah.
I loved all of those. Thank you. Could you recommend a handful of romance novels or just novels, like books that you would recommend?
Okay. Oh crap. Okay. Yes. Hold on. Okay. So, I just finished reading this. I was going on and on about like read your history, but like this Lisa Kleypas novel just came out, like in the last like
Yeah.
I think it was like 2015. But I
Yeah.
just finished reading Marrying Winterborn,
Okay.
um,
Hmm.
which does like listen, Lisa. If we want to talk about problematic, Lisa Kleypas has like some fairly recent stuff that was like using like language where I'm like, this shit ain't cool, Lisa. Like,
Mm.
again, I feel like we can like engage with these conversations, but still like understand like A, like why she made those choices, and B, why we don't have to make the same choice.
Hmm. Hmm.
Setting that aside, Marrying Winterborn has probably one of the like most romantic grand gestures
Hmm.
um that I have ever read. I was
Wow.
like up until 1 a.m. finishing it and like texting Rosie
Nice.
because she had already read it and I was just like what the
Yeah.
fuck, how like this is
Yeah.
ingenious, like oh my
Hmm.
God. So Marrying Winterborn, but you have to read the book before that,
Okay.
which is Cold Hearted Rake to get it. So you do need to read two books, which is and it's also very good.
Hmm.
Luckily.
Yeah.
I actually will also say uh, the best, I think it's speaking of the Donner Party,
Mm.
the best land, I think it's the best land under heaven,
Okay.
is a book I read last summer about the Donner Party.
Oh.
Um, and I just thought it was, I didn't like love the way the historian sort of dealt, like, I don't know if
Hmm.
you're very into the Donner Party, but like it was technically the Donner Reed Party until Reed
Um,
murdered somebody within the party.
um,
Um, it's drama. Then it was just the Donner Party. But I didn't love the way the historian, like, he really had like this hero worship going on for the
ah.
Reed of I think his name was
Hmm.
James Reed. And
Hmm.
I didn't agree with like his conclusions, but I
Gotcha.
really loved the sort of picture he painted of uh, the idea, like the Donner Party is like such a prime example of that like sort of American exceptionalism that
Mm.
really blew up in those poor people's faces. um,
Yeah.
but it's a bit gruesome for sure, but incredibly
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah. I'm
and
not
sad.
surprised it was gruesome.
Yeah. And then okay, I'll give you one more, and I'm going to try and bring it back to romance. Okay, I'm going to give you two more.
Okay.
Uh, Nikki Payne.
Okay.
Nikki Payne is truly like a genius
Hmm.
um, on so many levels. But I think it was Pride and Protest. Was that her first one?
Hmm.
Her debut
Hmm.
it's not like I think came out a couple years ago, and I just think it's really beautiful and fun
Okay.
at the same time. Like there's like maybe it's just like I don't know Nikki, but like we follow each other and stuff. And like she has this
Yeah.
like cheekiness to her that I think
Hmm.
is like really well imbued in her work.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
and KT Hoffman, uh,
Mm-hmm.
who wrote The Prospects, and they have, or he has another book coming out. I think
Okay.
it's next year. The Prospects is about a uh, minor league
Yeah.
trans man ball player.
So
And
good.
KT was one of me and Rosie's um, Pitch Wars mentees.
Oh, I love
Um,
that.
yeah, so we got to read The Prospects before it was even called The Prospects. And it's like a book that has I've read multiple versions of that
Hmm.
book, and every single one of them makes me cry
Hmm.
because it's so beautiful. And he writes
Yeah.
the most beautiful um,
Hmm.
prose. So
Yeah.
those, I will give you those four.
Perfect. I'll take them. Is there anything else that you would like to add, whether it's like buy my book or a rant about something? Like, is there anything else that you just feel compelled to share?
Yes. Well, please buy my books.
Yeah.
That would be great. Any of them, or if you want to pre-order, most likely to
Oh,
match.
yeah.
It is up for pre-order. It will also be available on Kindle Unlimited. And as with like, um, I always feel like I need to leave all these caveats. So like, you can't pre-order Kindle Unlimited. You can only pre-order the ebook. You can't pre-order print when it's like in like a
Oh,
self-pub or whatever. But like either way, it's always really helps. Or you
yeah.
can read The Matchmaker now. Um, the thing that I guess the thing that I would want to like leave people with is um that yeah, like things are really terrible right now. I always wake up feeling
Hmm.
like it's the end of the world, but like
Don't feel
actually,
that way.
yeah. And I do think that like I know like myself and other authors feel so weird like promoting our books right now because
Hmm.
you're like children are dying and like it's World War
Yeah.
III also and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Um, but
Hmm.
I mean like I do like art is the thing that makes us
Yeah.
human. And if you could keep supporting art, whether it's my
Hmm.
art or somebody else's,
Yeah.
and not AI, that would be
Oh,
great.
sorry. You said AI,
Like
and I
we have
had
to
like
do like
an
a
instinctual
whole
look.
another video to talk about that. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just like w- make art and support art because I think
Keep
that's
keep going.
yeah, exactly.
I
That's
love that.
it.
Thank you. I will hit end on the recording.
Okay.
Mm.